Good morning, everybody. This is Eugenie Ermis with Awaken Your Ward Transformational Coaching. I am here with Debbie Sage and our other friend, Cindy Crosby, and we are looking at the Law of the Mirror, which is part of the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John Maxwell. I am again going to share my screen. It wouldn't let me record when I was sharing the screen, so we're going to do this again.
Got to do it in a certain order, huh?
I guess there we go.
There it is.
Well, the law of the mirror is about self-esteem and finding value in yourself, because you really can't add value to somebody else unless you can find the value in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part of that I like to add in is the universe is also like a mirror. And with our self-talk and how we talk to ourselves, everything we put out into the universe is reflected directly back to us. So that's another reason why we have to watch our self-talk, so that it doesn't get reflected back on us.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense.
And you really can't grow without having self-esteem, positive self-esteem. John Maxwell talks about a leadership lid in the law of the lid, but he also talks about a self-esteem lid, and the fact that you can only help somebody as far as your lid goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And so for you to be able to get further, you got to lift that lid, and that takes study and growth and prayer, meditation, journaling, whatever it takes to help build your self-esteem so you can push that lid up. He says he's seen many a person that has bypassed their lid, but without lifting this lid up with them, eventually they sabotage themselves because their lid did not move with them. So it's very interesting, I think.
It was very interesting. Yeah.
This chapter starts with, you have your book now, right, Debbie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do.
It starts with a quote: personal development is the belief that you are worth the effort, the time, and the energy needed to develop yourself. You are worth that time.
Mm-hmm.
In my last Facebook Live, I talked about going to work at an eating disorder facility and how I did not have a real strong self-esteem at that point. Now it's gotten much better. I have I'd say very strong self-esteem. But then it was not strong. I had all these negative things going through my head, like you're not worthy, you're not good enough, why is someone gonna listen to you, blah, 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 blah. I mean, just reels in my head. And I went to this very idyllic setting. Beautiful, gorgeous vistas with mountains and canyons and desert flowers and lush vegetation, because the bulimics, they purge, so they would find flower beds sometimes, and they had beautiful flowers. But you open that door and it was filled with the most broken women I've ever seen in my life. And all of a sudden I saw all the reels in my head, they were coming to life. And that's when I had to learn to lift my lid, because there's no way I could help those women find their voice and move forward if I didn't find my voice and move forward. There's just no way.
Exactly. Reading this story, I related tremendously with it. And actually, just like her, going to school is what really just put me over the top, with my self-esteem. The more I did and the good grades I was getting, it made my self-esteem more, because I told them in class, I'm the one that used to jump the fence and skip school all day. I can't believe it myself that I'm making these good grades. It's like, I really am smart.
You are smart.
It was wonderful, and it's like, because you're told, so long, And just like they said, this,
Jonetta,
huh?
Jonetta, the woman they talk about.
Well, the what those the two businessmen who wrote that book said you're told 150,000 times and on average that you can't.
Mhm.
You
And
can't.
told only this much that you can.
Yeah, like 5,000 times.
Yeah, 5,000.
Yeah, compared to 150,000, you can't. And I said that's a lot, but I believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I remember you're born and you've got this such a beautiful, clean slate. You are
Clean
full of
slate.
potential. You can do anything.
Yes.
And then, one sibling comes and another sibling comes or not. And then you go to school and all of a sudden your whole life changes because you can't do this. You're not good at this.
Especially girls.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. You can move up if you want to, Debbie. I mean, Chris, Cindy, too many E's.
Well, my counselor told me a while back to write out different affirmations. And I did. I wrote them out and then I put them where I can read them every day. And some I'll have at the table or on the refrigerator, whatever. And one that I wrote down was, I have value. God says so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even though I have to remind myself of that sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And this year's been a very difficult year for me and my husband. We're going through a lot of things. But and today I had a counseling session, but yeah, I'm discovering that I do have a voice.
Yes.
Mhm.
That because I was taking on whatever he said, I just took that on as that's the truth.
Mhm.
Now I'm not doing that. I do have my own voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
One of the things I was taught in recovery as far as, when I got into recovery, I just, after doing a personal inventory and everything, I just wanted to die because I had no self-esteem at all.
Exactly.
And so my sponsor told me if I wanted self-esteem to do esteemable things.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, God didn't even, that's just too logical, and
Yeah.
so, no logical brain here. But I was taught, when you hear that negative talk or somebody says something to you, to ask yourself, is that true?
Right. That's right.
And sometimes it may be true. And then you go, well, maybe I need to work on that. Or it might not be true,
Right. Yeah.
Then also learning how to reframe it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If it's a negative reel, recognize it and then reframe it to positive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So therefore it becomes, yeah, I think but this is what's true,
Mhm.
Hmm.
instead of, I think I talked last week about sitting there in the car thinking, I don't belong here at the IMC convention.
Mhm.
And I said, but why not?
Why not?
I have just as much to offer. I said, I'm a darn good coach
That's right.
and I'm worthy of learning and I have value and I have a voice. So why not?
Yes. Yes.
So
And
I
I'm
had to
here.
turn that into a positive. Do what now?
And I'm here.
That's right. And I'm here. I drove a long way.
Exactly.
I could have just had a free vacation and stayed and swam in the pool and sat on my balcony and have bonbons or something, I guess.
Oh yeah, the convention. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what's that?
Yeah, I went.
Hmm. But reframing that thing, I said, I have a right to be here.
Mhm. And stuffing your feelings does not help. I used to think, okay, I'm just not going to think about or I'm just going to forget it. But you know what? You have to deal with it. You're going to deal with it now or later.
Yes.
And my husband, he's got some things he really is needing to deal with. abandonment by his father for one thing. And he's addicted to scratch off lottery tickets now. So I just keep him in prayer because, you know, I can't do it for him, you know?
No,
No, I
no, you
can't.
can't.
Much as I want to, I can't.
No.
You can't.
And they talked about that, this woman, Jonetta, in the book, about how nobody in her family had gone to college. Nobody, she wasn't married. She had 2 children. She was, living off sponge cake, I guess. She just really didn't have anything going for her. And she woke up on her 30th birthday and she looked in the mirror and she said, I'm going to read from the book. She said, that day I woke up and realized I had absolutely nothing to celebrate. No money, no full-time job, no home, no husband, and no clue. Not even the will to do better. At last, I knew it was time to make some changes.
Isn't that phenomenal at 30 years
Yeah.
old?
Yeah.
But what's phenomenal to me is that she woke up and realized.
She
Yeah.
didn't choose to die, which she could have.
No,
I
she
thought
couldn't
that
have.
was coming next when I read that.
Yeah.
I know, but she didn't. She went
Yeah.
on to get her GED
Wow.
and she went on to go to college.
Yep.
And people said she was going to move to Georgia, and people in her family said, nah, you'll never do that. You just can't do that. And she was like,
Why not?
watch me.
That's it.
And
Prove her wrong.
it took her a while, but she moved to Georgia and her kids went to school and went to college.
Wow.
And she set that role model for them.
Exactly.
She
She broke
said-
that cycle.
She
you
she
know?
she lifted that lid.
Yeah.
But she, like you said, she could have chosen just to die.
I know.
She
And
could have
that's what I was
chosen to
afraid
die.
I was
And
going
thank
to
God she
say.
did. Yeah.
Me too. But had she
Yeah.
died, those 2 boys never would have
Realized. Yeah.
would have gotten to be what they are now.
Right.
She's
Exactly.
working on her doctorate.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's,
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to work on my doctorate, but
No, I'm too old now.
well, I'm not too old. That's something that doesn't interest me. I
No.
think they also talk about finding what interests you,
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not my thing. No.
Yeah. Your passion.
your passion,
passion.
your purpose.
Yeah. Exactly.
They talk about that a lot.
Mhm.
It says no factor is more important in people's psychological development and motivation than the value judgments they make about themselves.
Wow.
And I know this to be true because I didn't value myself. And I did think a couple of times about not being here anymore. I mean, I truly did.
I have too.
But
But my faith in God got me right through it.
I don't know. I don't know what. So part of it was, I know a large part of it was God. I do know that. But the other part was something deep inside my core just said,
There's more.
there's something else for you to do.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is yet, but something else for you to do.
Exactly.
I was more of a homicidal person than
Oh,
if I could just eliminate the problem, it'd just be okay.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
for me, I was the problem. So
Me too.
Well, I didn't know I was the problem. You know.
You thought everybody else was?
Yes.
I hear you.
That's what broke my heart. You know, I mean, that's when I hit rock bottom. When I realized, just like her, you know, and look in the mirror. I mean, I went through almost everything she went, you know.
Yeah.
So I knew what she was talking about. And then of course hit the road, you know, with drugs and alcohol like her sister, and just, you know, that I didn't read where they said about her sister, but I haven't finished yet. But it's like, yeah, I mean, you have to hit bottom. And I heard somebody say, I think it was Andy Stanley I was listening to it, and he said that people who are broken have an easier time of grasping, God. And I said, that is so true, because I wasn't raised in church. So
Yes.
I knew God was good. I was never mad at God or anything, but
Oh, I
so-
was.
Oh,
I've been
know.
very mad at God
I was
before.
one time.
Yeah, see, I was mad at everybody else,
But
so
the neat thing is God can take all that and use you
yeah,
to help somebody else that I might not could reach, you see?
yes,
And
yes,
that's the cool part. Yeah. You know,
exactly. And it's just when you realize that you survived all that,
right.
that's when I was then like, now what,
Yeah.
Well, now you're the voice for other people
You're exactly.
Yes, see, that's
until they can find their voice, and you help them find their voice, which is, I
Yes.
think, is very
It is.
important.
yes.
So,
Yeah, it is and very empowering. So I was happy to see that she went the other way.
me too, because when I first read that part, I was like, oh no, I don't want to read that.
I know.
Because I was like, no.
Well, everybody has their struggle, but we're more alike than different. I mean, my struggle was depression, and I had breast cancer too, 9 years ago. But those are two areas that I see now. I can reach out to other people online, and then I love to write. So God opened a door for me to write about somebody that has kidney disease and needs a kidney transplant. So I've been doing that several weeks, well over several weeks. And I mean, they're really interested in keeping up with him. And so, God, if he closes one door, he opens something else, and I'm thankful. He knows our passion. He knows what we want, what we're good at. And he does, he opens doors in his time.
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough to look in the mirror, but it's so rewarding,
What?
Yes.
And there's two one exercise I'm gonna give in conjunction with what's in this book for us to do for next week and report on it, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. Yeah. And it says one of the big things that we do is we end up comparing ourselves to other people.
Woo.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. All the time. Not all the time, but it seems like,
A lot.
But the thing is you compare yourself to that person, but they're not your mirror.
No.
They're not your mirror. And then they're looking at somebody else and comparing themselves, and that person's not their mirror.
Exactly.
So we're looking for validation someplace that's not going to validate us.
I find that what I compare is a lot of with looks and weight and stuff like that, because I was raised that way.
Right.
Even to this day, it's always the comments are about, well, I don't know how I remember them looking. I said, well, that was 40 years ago,
That's right.
Exactly.
Nobody looks the same, and the older I've got, the more I accept, myself, and I'm healthy and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Of course I'd like to be thinner and all that good stuff. But it's like, but I'm healthy, and God, just to have good health is amazing.
Right.
And there are things I can do to change it, but always that compares like, wow, she's how old? Well, she's about my age, and look how good she looks, and that thought will run across my mind, because of the way I was raised. It was always we make the outside look good, and we don't care if the inside's a mess, because nobody can see that.
That's right. I actually had a client yesterday tell me that, because she's always dressed in a nice when she comes to dialysis. And I always try to comment, because that's kind of important to her. And she and I got into discussion. She goes, yes, I look good on the outside. He says, on the inside, I'm a little bit of a mess right now.
Aww.
And I said, well, I'm going to pray that your inside matches your outside soon. so you can feel better.
Yeah.
But that's what she said. She said that
Aw.
she that day she did not feel good on the inside.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know what happened. We're not don't have that kind of relationship,
Right.
but we have enough of a relationship for someone, say, well, I'm gonna, I want your inside to match your outside.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like the last counselor I went to, the one I told me about the trash can. She looked phenomenal all the time. And I said, Look, I said, I bet your husband just loves the way you dress. I mean, she was just so classy. She said, I don't do it for him. She said, I do it for me. Makes me feel good. And I thought, now that is an empowered woman.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes, definitely.
Exactly.
She didn't care if he liked it.
Well, also,
It was about her.
and you can choose to dress in ours. You can choose to walk around without any makeup on, and
Right.
and you don't do it for other people. You do it for yourself.
Right.
Whatever makes you feel. Yeah,
Exactly.
Mhm.
yes.
Exactly. So good for
And
her.
why should we have to wear makeup at home if we don't want to,
I don't wear makeup.
Oh,
I don't wear makeup half the time anymore. I ain't got none on now.
I know. I know. I know
But
a
I mean-
couple of women who go to bed with it on, and their
Oh,
husbands
good
have
Lord.
never seen them without makeup.
I can't imagine that.
And
they've been
sometimes that's
married.
because they don't feel good inside.
Right.
So they want to keep up that.
I said, aren't your
Yeah.
pillowcases a mess? I mean, don't you look like a raccoon in the morning?
I know, right?
Don't that scare them? When they see it?
But there are people that have their eyeliner and their lipstick and their blush
Permanent.
tattooed onto their
Yes,
skin.
permanently. Yes. I don't know.
They pay to have it tattooed onto their skin.
Blood.
I'm not that into self. I mean, to that
Well, but
point.
to me, it's sad
That
It
is
is sad.
sad.
that they go through that much trouble
Right.
to keep this outside facade
Image. Yeah.
when
exactly.
inside they could be
A
really
mess.
a mess and
Yeah.
needing help and not
Yeah.
admitting it because they don't want to admit that
Exactly.
they need it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm definitely, even growing up that way, I totally fight that, because I'm more about working on the inside.
Me
Right.
too. Me
well, see,
too.
my mom, I'm very fortunate to have the mom I had. My mom never wore makeup.
Yes, my mom didn't either.
And, but she did like to dress nice to go to church. She
Oh,
liked to dress
yeah.
nice. I'd always pick out her clothes for her.
Yeah.
But
she knew
she
that
was who she
wasn't what
was,
important.
and
Yeah.
you either liked her or you didn't. And
Well,
if you
that's the
didn't-
beauty there, is from what's on the inside.
exactly.
See, she was a confident woman. I mean,
She grew to be very confident.
that's good.
Yeah, she grew to be very confident, and
Mhm.
she was a good lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, Jack Canfield, I think he's also the one that does a lot of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, things like that. I think.
Yeah.
I think, but he wrote a book called The Success Principles, and this is in the portion about move beyond your limiting beliefs, because a lot of those things we say to ourselves are cause us to have limiting beliefs about ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So
But isn't that phenomenal on page 39 where it says self-esteem is the single most significant key to a person's behavior?
yes, yeah.
That is very powerful.
That is-
And it is, and I can see it. I can see, speaking for myself, I can see a big difference from even in my 30s
Mhm.
to now that I'm 60. I can see a huge difference. I'm not the same person.
No,
I'm just not.
no,
You
I
better
wouldn't want to
be.
be 30
I
again.
think so.
Yeah,
Oh, me
you're
either.
progressing. You're moving.
I
forward.
wouldn't want to go backwards.
No.
No, no.
And it also says people are never able to outperform their self-image.
I underlined that. I love that.
Yeah.
We're
outperform.
never able to outperform the self-image.
No.
And one that I'm also working through is the one that's on page 41, where it says, if you put a small value on yourself, rest assured, the world will not raise the price.
Wow,
I love that too.
that's cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
The world will not raise the price.
No,
Wow.
no,
But if you don't value yourself, nobody else is going to.
no.
It's like a book that I got, oh gosh, what's the name of it? What women don't know and men won't tell them.
Oh,
It's so good. And it talks about, you have a scenario with a department store. So you
uh-huh.
go in the department store and on the bottom floor, it's the bargains, what's on sale and all that kind of stuff. So, everybody loves a good bargain,
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
It's
course.
easy access, to it. But over here to the left, there's some stairs. And up those stairs, if you go up their stairs, is the fine clothes. And the fine clothes are just sitting there waiting on the person who is willing to invest in them.
Oh.
And they may sit there for a long time, but whoever goes up them stairs, they know is willing to invest in it. And that's how we are, women. That's how I was, because of going through what I went through. Because women in the shape that I was in give sex for love, and men will give love for sex, And so we would give ourselves away because of being molested. Then you start self-abusing,
Right, right.
Yeah.
and to find that value, and you think that you find it that way, but I put myself on the bargain table, instead of sitting upstairs waiting because I wasn't worth that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so a lot of young ladies, there's a lot of sexual molestation going on.
There is.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is.
there
It is phenomenal
Mhm.
how much of it's going on.
Yep. You're right.
I think investing in yourself can also mean going to school. You invested in yourself.
Mhm.
Oh God, changed my
know?
life.
That was a huge investment because it made you start walking those stairs,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
because
Oh,
your self-esteem
You're
increased
investing in yourself now.
with each thing you did.
Mhm.
So you
Yes.
started walking up that staircase.
I had a dream the other night about one of my ex-husbands, and I was aggravated even in my dream. And when I woke up, I said, God, thank you that I am single. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And happily single. I was aggravated even in my dream,
Bless your heart.
I was like, thank you. I said, I know I sound like Eugenia this morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's what I wake up every morning saying that. It starts my whole day.
Yes, yes.
Yep,
But yeah, we really truly we need to be able to invest in ourselves. Like I chose to invest in coaching,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and I continually invest in those things because I now see that I'm a valuable person.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are.
I'm
Most definitely.
getting up that staircase.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Not me,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Well, we help each other, and then sometimes you have to, as it says here, you have to learn to be your own encourager.
Mhm.
If no one else is encouraging you, you have to be your
Do it
own
yourself, your own.
encourager.
Advocate. Yeah, that's true.
So, and then you can learn to help encourage somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the mirror, the mirror, the mirror.
The mirror.
But the limiting beliefs, that also comes down to reframing. And what Jack Canfield was saying is, identify a limiting belief that you want to change. Determine how the belief limits you. Decide how you want to be, act, or feel, and create a turnaround statement that affirms or gives you permission to be, act, or feel this way. What is the limiting belief that you would like to change, Debbie? What is something just
A limiting belief I want to change. Well, I think with 5 failed marriages, that really, I joke about it a lot, because it's so bad and painful and shameful and all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to change my thinking about that, instead of the way I handle it in a joking way, or just mostly a joking way,
so what would a statement of affirmation be for you?
That I really would be a good spouse,
And what makes you a good spouse?
Well, I love fiercely, and and just everything about the way I am,
Which is what?
to be a good partner, I believe in love and partnership, and I have bad trust issues.
Okay.
And I don't know how to change that.
But what would being a good partner mean to you?
A good partner to me would be that you could trust that person, each other, when you're not around each other.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
know, it's kind of like with God, you don't see him, but
he's there.
it's that connectedness, that, that trust, that love, that commitment to each other. So my trust issues are very messed up because of the past and all,
But what you just told me was that you are a trustworthy person, that you love fiercely, that you can be
Believe
there
in
for somebody, ma'am,
believe in commitment.
believe in commitment, and that you do commit. And that makes you a wonderful partner for somebody. Plus, you're able to listen, and you're able to appropriately respond to someone's needs, and you have value in yourself. So therefore, you will attract somebody who values you.
Yes, and thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I don't, and then sometimes I say, Paul, you were right. It's better to be single. So, but
I don't
I'm
mind
good
being
with-
single.
Huh?
I don't mind being single.
I'm good with it, because of my trust issues. But I think that's the one part in my life that I miss not happening, I guess.
Right. I think if I could find somebody in my generation, the men have been put on a pedestal. And if I could find someone who would come down off that pedestal and be even with me.
Yes.
Someone told me, in order for me to get married, we'd have to be like 2 pillars holding up a porch. We both have our roles and our strengths and our equals, but yet we still work together to hold our home together.
Yeah, you can't lose yourself. You
Yeah.
have to be your own person and them too, but then you know, you do it together and you are
Right.
your own person, you know.
But yet you come together to make that home.
Yes, and I believe, you know, that in the marriages I've seen where, you know, of course, people losing their spouses and all, older generation, you know, and when I listen to them talk about their relationships, it's like they persevered, they didn't harm each other, you know, they really did it together.
Yeah.
And it's like, exactly, that's what I'm talking about, you know. And you're right, our generation, the men are, you know,
I can't say all of them. There might be some good ones out there. I just haven't met them yet.
I have not either, yes, but life's too busy anyway. But
Oh
I think that's just one thing, you know. I would like to get to the point that I don't joke about it to make myself feel better. So that would be good.
that's kind of like the one of the masks you wear.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How about you, Cindy? What is one limiting belief that you would like to reframe?
What I am working on now, and Miss Agnes helped me realize, okay, say I have an opinion, well, somebody else has an opinion, and then I tend to take on their opinion. And I don't need to do that. My opinion, well, for instance, me and Bobby dyed my hair, right? So, because it got too expensive going out. So, and we did fine. I'm like, okay, as long as it's not red, it's okay. So, because I did it red one time. That's another story. So, you know, I was all happy, and me and Bobby were happy with the results. And then I go to my granddaughters, and she's like, Grammy, your hair's too dark. And then I kind of went, and then I kind of said, is my hair too dark? You know, and she took a picture of me to show me, right? And it was darker than normal, but not that much darker, you know? Actually, it usually lightens up after a couple washes.
Oh yeah.
And so I finally said, oh man, you know, and I kind of felt down. And then I said, no, wait a minute. And I stopped myself and said, no, that's her opinion. That's all that is her opinion. You liked your hair, you still like your hair. You know?
That's
So
right.
that's what I'm working on.
This is being true to who you are and what
Yeah.
you believe.
Exactly. Yeah. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. And I guess it's maybe I want people to like me to the point that I just say, okay, whatever, but I don't need to do that.
Well, when you
'Cause
do
that's
that,
not being true to me.
yeah, when you do that, you're wearing that mask again. We as women wear so many different masks because our self-esteem is so low
Yeah.
Yeah.
that we have to, and then it takes a lot of courage to start slowly lowering all those masks.
Yes.
But I can promise you, your hands will get tired of holding them up.
Yeah.
It just is. And eventually, hopefully, eventually they come down.
Exactly.
Because you need to be true to who you are.
Yes.
You really do. And
How about you, Eugenia?
my limiting belief was, and actually it was, it's not anymore, is I struggle with doing those Facebook Lives because I didn't like the way I looked on camera. I sometimes have a disconnect and I will think faster than the words come out and they come blah, 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 blah. And now I don't have an issue with them.
That's good.
I mean, I may start them over again because, and I'll just say, this is take 3. Remember words got garbled. This is take 3. But I also have invested in myself in learning different coaching techniques and being a member of Toastmasters so I can practice this speaking. And also with John Maxwell, Rhoda Galbraith is their speaker trainer. He's fantastic. And just going over his training has helped me realize that, it's okay. And if you mess up, it just makes you human.
Yeah.
And I'm very human. So, and also thinking that no one will want to hear my story, because I wasn't molested. I haven't been physically abused. We had some emotional abuse going a little bit because my dad was very angry for a while. But it came more from things that teachers said and other kids said and the media and looking at the different magazines and what these people were doing. And also seeing most of the leaders were, and I don't mean this negative, because we have some very good male leaders, but most of the leaders were old white men.
Well, I
And
was
I
gonna
don't
say
look
in
that
the
way.
church too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Church, government,
Yeah.
everything. And I'm just like, I don't look like that. I'm not an old white man. I can't change that. So working through that to realize that my story is important. And through my story, I can help other women feel empowered and find their voice. And there's two reasons I do that. One is because I want us to have more women leaders,
Right.
but also because I want, like this little lady in here in this chapter, if she had had somebody speak into her life when she was a middle schooler, when she was a high schooler, she would have been made different decisions and would have had a different kind of life. I'm thankful she made those decisions when she did, but I want to empower women
Before they get to
who
30
are,
years
well,
old.
also who are middle-aged,
Yeah.
like we are middle-aged.
Yeah.
I want us to feel empowered and with a positive self-esteem and self-image so that we can be examples for not, the middle schoolers, the high schoolers, even the young women who are just starting out in the workforce, that they can go forward and farther and they can lift that self-esteem lid, that they compete with men. Not even compete, that they can, men and women can complement each other.
Right.
Exactly.
Because we need both of them. We both have different strengths and talents and gifts. And I think we need both sets of voices. That's getting off a whole nother subject. But I think realizing that I had value and that my story had value and that I was perfectly capable of empowering other women.
Well, just being a woman, when we were born and when we were raised and all, that time, it was like, that's when it was going through the burning of the bras and I'm tired of this, and women were starting to try to find a voice and they've been struggling for a while, and so here it is, we're 60 and, women are still struggling. It's a little better, but it's still, you get labeled if you speak up too strongly. And so it's still, we're still not respected as equal,
Just like that Helen Reddy song, "Woman Hear Me Roar." We know, "I am woman, hear me roar." The number is too big to ignore.
Yeah.
That was in 1971.
Yeah.
That's 50 years ago, and we're still
to
this day working on that.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whenever I would express my opinions to husbands or men, well, all you want to do is argue. Oh no, I'm trying to have a conversation here, so I can't have a different opinion because all you want to do is argue or try to make you feel like you're cuckoo,
Right.
And so it's still so that's what I find fulfilling in my relationships with women, is it's more on the same plane, you know.
And now that you have a better relationship with yourself,
Mhm.
you can have a more equal relationship with other women as well,
Oh yeah,
you know?
definitely.
I mean, it's just, we don't realize how important it is.
Mhm.
Another part of this as well, so, are your thoughts more like, well, it's about time I didn't do as much as I should have. That won't make a difference. It's hopeless. I'll never succeed. Or are they more like these? It's good that I did that. I did the right thing. Good for me. Every little bit helps. I'm that much closer to success. Because for me, every time I screwed up a Facebook Live or screwed up at work, I'm just like, but you know what? I learned.
Exactly.
And that's another stepping stone to my success. So instead of beating myself up like I used to do, I used to say, oh, that was stupid. Why did you do that? I'm like, that's a stepping stone.
Well, that's what I told my friend Karen. I said, you know, every time that I've been in bed with depression, God has showed me something. I have learned something, you know, so it's not in vain. He's teaching me, even though I'm not where I want to be exactly, you know, it's sort of a stepping stone too to where I am now. This year, we've been put through hell. I had to put it mildly. And I'm still not in bed.
That's right.
Thank
See?
you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Every day I talk to the Lord. And I mean, it's hard because my husband's got a lot going on, and he thinks when I'm stern and I speak the facts, he says I'm mean. Now, I'm not yelling. I'm just talking normal like I am with you. But he declares I'm being mean. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm just expressing the facts like I see them.
See
And
me,
that-
I'd be like, yeah, you ain't seen me, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I can be pretty mean, so I tried hard not to be mean.
Be fixing to see me. No.
It
Oh,
also talks about have a positive vision for your life based on what you value.
what page is that on?
That's on page 46.
46. Yeah, that about the thinking about, you know, the small victories and everything. When I in recovery, they have the 10-step inventory that you do every day. So
Oh,
they say when you retire at night, think about your day and how did you do, you know, and really evaluate it. And so to say, yep, I did that. I handled that really good. And then, yep, I could have handled that a little better, you know, and you just be honest with yourself, and it helps you to, you know, think, well, maybe I'll do better. I'll try it this way, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
So to just take an inventory of your day and how well you did or didn't do.
That's true.
and I like this quote by June Carter Cash. This is from a movie that Reese Witherspoon was in, which I have not seen. I don't watch too much TV or movies, so I haven't seen it.
She
But
did a
she said-
wonderful job.
Did she? I'll have to watch it sometime. It says people used to ask June how she was doing, and she would say, I am just trying to matter.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Because we all want to matter.
Yes.
Exactly. It's not about being right. It's about mattering, you know, really.
I think sometimes in our lives we can be so successful, but I think success without significance loses something.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my humble opinion, though.
Yes.
And it says to do something positive every day whether it's to add value to you or to add value to somebody else, because it helps you believe more in yourself as a positive affirmation, and it helps you grow in that self-esteem.
Mhm.
You know, I heard something about that on the radio today, that when you help other people, it actually helps, it does something to your brain.
Mhm.
It was interesting, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know,
But doesn't mean now this, and I'm not saying this to me, but doesn't mean that you help other people so much that you end up neglecting yourself.
no,
Because
no.
you got to be able to take care of yourself so you
gotta
can
have
help other people.
self-care, right, exactly.
So you really,
Well, it's like even when you're going in the grocery store and somebody looks especially nice, or you just smile at them, or
yeah,
or just oh, I love those shoes you got on, or
Yeah.
whatever, just something positive,
Yeah, exactly.
those kind of
It
things.
can make a difference, yeah.
It does
it
make
really
you
makes a
feel better.
huge difference.
It does.
This one little lady said there's this one little lady in her garden that she would be out there and gardening, and every day she was like the neighborhood waver. They'd go by and she'd wave.
Awesome.
Nothing, they never said anything. She just waved. And she said one day she wasn't out there to wave. And she just realized how much that Julie had meant to her, because that lady was out there waving.
Yeah,
It's a simple,
Yeah.
acknowledgement.
every day. Yeah. And that lady didn't know how much her life mattered, probably, but it really did matter.
Aw,
Mhm.
Just so much as the simplest
little
things.
things, yeah.
And there's another thing about practice the one word strategy. So if you could just think, it takes some time to think about it. So if you could pick only one word to describe yourself, what would it be? Because this is something that you're aspiring to bring into your life.
One word.
One word, just one word. It says the first thing I do when I'm coaching someone who aspires to stretch, grow, and go higher in life is to have that person select one word that describes her or him. Once that person does that, it's as if he or she has turned a page in a book, highlighted one word. Instead of seeing 300 different words on the page, the person's attention and intention is focused immediately on that single word, that single gift, and what the individual focus on expands. There's a saying that what you water grows, and what you nourishes grows. So this person picked a one word, and that's by focusing on that word instead of all these trillion different words, that started growing in their life.
I believe that.
So what would be this? And then, I mean, this is just an exercise right now. What would be your word for today?
Grateful.
Grateful. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a good one.
Grateful. Okay. So until next Thursday. Now, next Thursday, this will be coming from San Antonio. So I'm hoping my internet connection will be strong, because I will be seeing my Uncle Don. But I want you to think about that over the next week. Grateful is going to be your word too. That's going to be your word.
Okay.
Okay. And how about you?
I would say loyal.
Okay. Okay. Loyal. Okay. And I actually did this when I read the book. I picked the word awakening or awaken, because I'm awakening to different possibilities and awareness and self-esteem and growing my voice. So I'm facing my fear and awakening my roar.
There you go. I like that, awakening your roar. That's good.
That's the name of my business. And it also talks about taking responsibility for your life, looking at your values, finding something you what you want to do that incorporates those values, because the values are what shape your vision. So something I'd like for each of us to do between now and next Thursday is to think about what you really do value. What you really do value, and write it down. And then think about the vision for your life, and see how they match up, and if you need to kind of tweak anything in there.
Okay.
And the other thing, there's a couple things here. I want us to all write down, to start writing down. It could be a practice over the week. Write down all of our best personal and positive qualities.
Okay.
Personal
And just positive qualities, our
positive qualities.
good positive qualities and strengths and gifts. And it says, don't stop until you've written 100 about yourself at a minimum.
Oh, my word.
100.
Okay.
And they say, if you struggle with this, it means that that's someplace where we need to work.
Okay.
So we got just,
You made that up. Does it really say 100?
it really does say 100. I even underlined it twice.
Here, let me see it. I'm gonna
I
read
even
that.
understood it. I've underlined it twice.
Okay.
I see it already.
And I want us to each find a way to add value to other people, which helps us add value to ourselves.
Okay.
And this is an exercise I learned when I went to behavioral health coaching certification school and transformational coaching school. It's every day. I want us to take however many minutes we have, 3, 5 minutes. And there's two parts to this exercise. One, I want you to look in the mirror, straight in the mirror, like if you're looking into the camera, straight into the mirror.
Okay.
And I want you to look in the mirror, and I want you to say, I love you.
Okay.
And I want you to say it until you mean it.
Okay.
I love you. And then the second part of that exercise is, I want you to see Jesus looking at you in that mirror and hearing Jesus say over and over again that I love you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No qualifications to it. Just, I love you. And we'll may not get through all of this next time, because we'll have another lesson. I think the law of reflection is next time. But we'll go through this key real quick, like. Oh, sure. Sure. There you go. You don't have to whisper. That's okay. You must see value in yourself and add value to yourself, because sometimes people won't add value to you, because you got to take that on yourself. A look in the mirror, the power of self-esteem or positive self-esteem. Self-esteem is the single most significant key to a person's behavior. Low self-esteem puts a lid on our potential, or that what I talked about, that lid. The value we place on ourselves is usually the value others place on us. So we have to learn how to recognize our own value. And by doing that, others will recognize that value as well. But I am done letting somebody else determine my value.
Exactly. And we do attract it. It's just like it's karma or something, it's like people know without you saying it. It just comes to you, that negative or the positive.
Exactly. And you find yourself, sometimes I find myself just not able to tolerate nasty niceness. I just, there's certain things I just don't tolerate anymore because my self-esteem has gone up, my value has gone up, and what I tolerate sometimes is kind of changed
Yeah.
a lot. If you place a small value on yourself, rest assured the world will not raise the price. Okay. Steps to build your self-image. Guard your self-talk. We talked about that. Guard what you say to yourself. And if you say something like, if you say, I cannot do this, you change it. Yes, I can.
I can do that.
I can do that. And I will do that.
Yeah.
And there are times I may not do it really well the first time, but by the second time I get better, and the third time I get better, and
Well, if you ever need relief, go back and look at our video we did last year. I watched it the other day and cracked up again about the shouldn't on yourself.
and don't should all over yourself. SHOULD.
That thing cracked me up.
Oh Lord, stop comparing yourself to others. Making comparisons is an amazingly powerful attraction that is really just an unneeded distraction to your own potential. Move beyond your own self-limiting beliefs. Charles Schwab said, when a man or woman puts a limit on what he or she will do, he or she places a limit on what he or she can do. So I've gotten where I don't put limits on it because more than likely, I really can't do that. And if it's something I really, really am not good at, I can find somebody who is, who can complement that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how teams are built. That's why I'm going to be doing I'm going to be covering the whole book in the next series. And I'm going to implement a personality assessment tool that everybody will take that tool, and then we'll do one-on-ones with each person on their communication style. There'll be more information on that coming out very soon, as I get the pieces pulled together in the marketing.
Okay.
by Saturday or Sunday, it'll be done. Discuss these steps to transforming limiting beliefs into empowering beliefs. Identify the belief you want to change. Determine how that belief limits you. Decide how you want to act, feel, or think. Decide a turnaround statement. That's what we talked about, that reframe. Okay. Add value to others. Do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. Sometimes there's some things we just don't want to do, but we do them because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
If there's a specific area of life that you want to grow in, do something daily in it to help it grow. What you water and nourish grows. It's just the way it is. That's why I try to focus on my business every day, because I want it to grow. And I have to make sure I do something and take the steps I need to do it for personal growth and for business growth. So I do. Small victories. For me, getting up here in front of people, even if it's on a virtual, actually that's a pretty big victory.
Exactly.
Embrace a positive vision for your life based on your values, because your values are what form your vision. And if they're congruent, it's magic. Practice a one-word strategy, and you have your word as grateful, you have your word as loyal, and my word is awakening or awaken. Take responsibility for your life. The next chapter we cover next week will be the law of reflection. And with that being said, I also want us to remember that the universe is a huge mirror that reflects back our beliefs and thoughts and values back to us, which is why it's so important for us to really monitor what we put out there.
It's like what I think it was Henry Ford said, if you believe, whether you believe the glass is half full or half empty, you're right.
That's right. Well, a friend of mine, Jose Baltazar, he wrote this book. It's a long title. Live a healthy, happy, long life and prosper without stress. But he
Wow.
has a PhD in mind body medicine.
Oh, cool.
Very humble, beautiful man. I've met him through another mentor of mine.
Mm.
And he talks about having optimistic mind. He doesn't mean thinking of positive thoughts or that type of thing. He means that even if things are bad, being able to think
Concentrate on the
positively and
positive.
have your life go forward, even if these not so good things are happening.
Mhm.
So I think that's
awesome.
That's
yeah,
real good.
he's a good guy.
Takes practice, I'm sure.
Oh my,
Yeah.
Every day.
Loads of
I would
practice.
think.
loads of
Till
practice.
it becomes the norm,
That's right. That's right. I'm going to close this out, but then we can still talk. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody out there, I want you to know that you are valuable, you are worthy, you are beautiful. God loves you. I love you. And I want you to have a blessed day, blessed night, and a blessed week. Bye.